The Nintendo 3DS eShop is closing in 2023, meaning 2022 is the year to buy 3DS games. Let's talk about it. Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Bo Talks Media. Today, we're going to be doing an updated look at what 3DS games you should be on the lookout for in 2022 if you are a collector. So, I did a video similar to this, the first video, I guess. I'll link that and a card here and all that in the description, called 3DS games to look out for in 2022. And that was basically the video that put this channel on the map, I think, for a lot of you guys. I want to do an update because when I made that video, I was still a naive little new 3DS collector, you know? I didn't know what I know now. So this video is going to be a lot of lesser known in terms of they're not all Nintendo games. I am covering some Nintendo first-party games in this video because I think a lot of them have either changed a lot in price since I made that video, or they're just, you know, people don't think like, oh, that's a Nintendo game. There's some, you know, publishing stuff that happened here. So I have a list here. I don't have prices written down, so this is all off the dome. I'm going to try to put prices up on screen as I talk about each game, and we'll do a couple of the ones I don't have here that I can actually show. So Tekken 3D Prime, I keep getting comments about this game. I actually used to have this when it came out back in 2012. This is just a Tekken 3DS game. It goes for like 80 to 100 bucks. So keep an eye out for Tekken. That's one I definitely want to still pick up, as well as Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater 3D, right? It's Snake Eater. This game has gone up in price a lot. I had a couple opportunities to buy this for 60 to 80, but I passed that up. It's typically around 80 to 100, you know. Obviously, these prices are vary because it's, you know, it's eBay prices, right? Or Mercari prices, whatever it is. So you always can snag a deal, but I would say the going rate for this game is 80 to 100 bucks. So well above MSRP. Now, I want to do an update of sorts on a game series that I did not realize was going to take over my mindset for the next year or two, and that is Yokai Watch. So the Yokai Watch series has absolutely gone crazy on 3DS. I would say as a full series, this is probably the main thing you want to look out for if you are a collector. It's really funny because it all just goes uphill from the first game to the last game, Yokai Watch 3, with the exception being Blasters a little bit. So we're going to talk about all three of these, or all 4 or 5 of these. There's a lot of Yokai Watch games on 3DS. So, of course, we have Yokai Watch 1. All my copies are sealed, by the way, which is very nice. But Yokai Watch 1, this is pretty cheap right now. I don't know how much a sealed copy is going for, but a used copy you can probably get for like 15, 20 bucks. Easy. Five Below was selling this in store for a while. So, Yokai Watch 1, not crazy. Then you move on to Yokai Watch 2, which is when they did the Pokemon thing and had 3 versions. So I don't have the third version. I really wish I did. But I have a sealed copy of this is dirty. I don't like how that's dirty. Looks like the paint is like rubbing off. I don't know what's going on there. But I have sealed copies of both Yokai Watch 2 Fleshy Souls and Yokai Watch 2 Bony Spirits. I got these for like 15 a piece back in February. I think they're going for like 30 to 40 now sealed. So even these ones that were super cheap before are going up in price, which is why if you're watching this is your first exposure to the 3DS market in 2022, I would say get this one. I think, although it was a Five Below game for so long, it's next. You know, all these Yokai Watch games are going up in price. Now, as I mentioned, there is a third version of Yokai Watch 2 called Yokai Watch 2 Psychic Specters. That game has absolutely exceeded my expectations. I had so many chances to get it for, you know, sealed 60 bucks, 80 bucks, 100 bucks. Now it's like 200, 250. Psychic Specters has absolutely skyrocketed. So if you see that game for a good price, I would say it's still pretty volatile, I would say. You know, they don't pop up too often. I would say under 120 at this point would be a really good deal. But, of course, like I said, I'll put something up on screen kind of showing you some of the recent sales for that game. Then we get to Yokai Watch Blaster. So this is a spin-off that was released, I believe, in 2016 by Nintendo and Level 5, of course. Nintendo did publish all these games in the West. This is a spin-off. Once again, had the 2 versions. It's White Dog Squad and Red Cat Core, I believe, are the 2 versions. This game just doesn't pop up, basically, for sale at all. And when it does pop up, so once again, I had an opportunity to get the White Dog Squad version for about, I think, $120. I saw it on eBay, but this was after I'd purchased my Fire Emblem Fate Special Edition, so I was like, okay, I cannot be spending this kind of money. I wish I did, because $120 is an absolute steal for that game at this point in time. Whenever copies go up now on eBay, it's usually $500 plus. And they sell for that much. which is ridiculous. At that point, we're talking, you know, that's ridiculous. That is absolutely absurd. So those games are basically goners, as well as Yokai Watch 3. So I got this for a very good deal. Well, my friend Caleb got it for a very good deal because I sent him the link, and then I did a trade for him because it was a weird listing. I didn't know if I could truly trust it, but he took the plunge, and I traded him some stuff for it. So Yokai Watch 3, another sealed copy. This is the last, is this second to last published Nintendo published game in North America. I think this came out in 2019, right before Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn, which we'll talk about in a bit. This game, once again, like Blasters, doesn't pop up too often, and when it does, the price is very volatile. It never $500, but I would say $250 to $300. I think this copy Caleb got for like $90, $80, 2 months ago. So obviously 2 months ago was a very different time in the 3DS landscape. So Yokai Watch 3 is definitely, like, I would say this is a grail more than Blasters, just because Blasters is a spinoff, right? This is the last mainline Yokai Watch game we got in the West. Of course, Yokai Watch 4 came out in Japan, but yeah. So moving on from Yokai Watch, that's a big portion of this video. Let's go ahead and cover some Atlas stuff, right? So I don't have much to show right here, and I don't have exact numbers for most of these, but I'll try to put up as many as I can. So the first one I have here, this is actually the special edition for Shin Megami Tensei 4, sealed. I got a really good deal on this. I got it for, I think, 75 Canadian, and then it was imported, so I forget the exact. It was around like $80 after everything was said and done, for a sealed copy. Used copies go for over 100. Sealed copies go for like 150 to 200. So I was very happy with that price for this. Atlas games are tricky because it is unlikely that Atlas will ever port any of them. So realistically, I only see them going up for the most parts. I think I have everything listed here. So, of course, for you Persona fans, we have Persona Q and Persona Q2. Now, Persona Q2 is very interesting because I believe that is one of the last, like, retail 3DS games. Of course, we're getting, like, limited run stuff from Fragrant Story and Andre Dinos 2. So, we still have 3DS games coming out physically. Persona Q2, I believe, was the last physical 3DS game that was sold in stores. You know, you could go to GameStop and buy this game. There's also a special edition for this game that goes for well over $250. I think base game is around maybe $80 to $100, so not crazy. But Persona, I think, out of all of these, is the most popular franchise, so keep that in mind if you're a Persona fan. But then we have the rest of the Shin Megami Tensei series, and when I made my initial video, I was very unfamiliar with every title in these series. I like SMT. This is one of my favorite 3DS games right here. But there's so many spin-offs on 3DS that I kind of got it all, you know, muddled in my head, and I might still forget something, to be honest with you. So let me see if I can get this right. SMT4, right here. Loose copy, not special edition, probably like, what, $40, $50, something around that. SMT4 Apocalypse, 60 plus, 60 to 80 around there. That is a direct sequel to this game, I believe. I have not played Apocalypse yet, sadly. I still need to get around to that. Then you get into the true spinoff. So we have SMT. I'm just going to say SMT because that's easier. SMT Soul Hackers. So this game, I think, is around 60 to 80 right now. However, you have to know, but that one's really interesting because we have Soul Hackers 2 coming out on PS4 and Xbox in August of this year, 2022. So that, to me, says that game's going to continue rising in price. Out of all these, I think, out of all the SMT games, I think that one has the chance to really rise the most. So there's that. And I should say, with SMT, and pretty much all these Atlas games, actually, they all have special editions. The most common thing is just a big cardboard box with a soundtrack with the game. And those go for, I would say, probably 50% plus on the value. So if, like, you know, Etrian Odyssey Untold, let's say, is $40. The one with the CD is probably 60. So I'm not going to have comparisons for each version of these, but just know there are these versions with soundtrack CDs. I think the only one that doesn't have one is SMT4 Apocalypse. Then we have SMT Strange Journey Redux, once again, 60 to 80, I would say. I feel like I'm missing another one. Oh, the Overclock game. So there's Devil Summoner Overclocked, I believe. I get these names muddled when I don't have a list in my face. So there's Devil Summoner Overclocked, and then Overclock 2 Record Breaker, or Devil Summoner Record Breaker 2. I don't know, man. These titles are crazy. All of these games are like $60 to $80 at 50% of that if you want the soundtrack with it. Nintendo Cardboard goes crazy, so any cardboard like boxes, big box games usually are going to hold value. So pretty much just anything that says Shin Megami Tensei, look out for that. If you see a good price for it, you should probably buy it. Of course, if you're interested in it. If you're doing this to invest, I mean, that's your prerogative. I'm doing it because I like these games and I like Nintendo. But moving on from SMT, I already mentioned Etrian Odyssey. This is a series of first-person dungeon crawler games. We have Etrian Odyssey 4, Legends of the Titan. I think that was the first one. That one first one on 3DS, I'd say. Obviously, it's the fourth game in the series. I think that one goes for like 50 to 70, I believe. Once again, has a soundtrack version. Then they did 2 remakes, Etrian Odyssey Untold and Etrian Odyssey Untold 2. Millennium Girl, I believe is the name. Both of those, like I said, 40 to 80, depending on with the soundtrack, if you want that. And then I believe there's also Etrian Mystery Dungeon, which is a mystery dungeon game. If you're familiar with Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, it's that, but Etrian Odyssey, Etrian Odyssey. So a lot of Etrian Odyssey stuff, all ranging in that 40 to 70 range, I would say. I don't think there's anything that goes too far out of that. So Etrian Odyssey, big 3DS series from Atlas. So keep an eye out for that. Then we have a couple other miscellaneous ones. We have Stella Glow. I've heard great things about Stella Glow. I believe this goes for about $50, which isn't too bad considering how great I've heard it is. Excuse me. And then the final Atlas game, I don't think I missed any. Let me know if I did. Is Radiant Historia Perfect Chronology. So this is another remake of a DS game, which is funny because most of these 3DS games from Atlas were remakes, except for SMT4 and Apocalypse. But Radiant Historia Perfect Chronology. This game goes for like about $100. It was a very late life 3DS game. There's also a special edition that bumps it up to like 150, 200. So I think that covers all the Atlas stuff. If I missed one again, I know about it. I've done my research. I know about all of these games. I just might have forgotten to list it here. So keep that in mind. So Atlas games. If you see Atlas on the box, you should probably buy it. And then as a fun little bonus here, I don't want to grab it, but Sega, which is now, co-partners with Atlas or whatever, they own Atlas, also published a game called 7th Dragon Code VFD. This is another JRPG on the 3DS. Probably buy that. I got my special edition, I think, for like $60. I don't remember the exact price, so that's another one you should probably look out for. Basically, this was the JRPG segment. JRPGs on 3DS, very good. Very good to buy, very good to collect, very valuable, has high proposition value of going up in the future, so keep that in mind. Let's talk about, if I can find it here. Well, I guess we'll just go in order of what I grab. Why not? Shinobi. So I got this game for like $20, I believe. The price is very weird. It's another Sega game. It's a I think a reboot of the Shinobi series. This game goes for like 40 to 60 from what I've seen. So just a random one that you might not have heard of. I think it was an early 3DS game. Here we go. These are 2 Nintendo published games. I actually only have one of them, but the Dragon Quest series on the 3DS. I have Dragon Quest 7, Fragments of the Forgotten Past. This game, I believe, has also gone up. I got it for like 50 or 60 back in February. It has gone up to around 80 to 90. And then Dragon Quest 8, which I don't have, has skyrocketed also. Back in February, when I made that initial video, I talked about that game. I think it was going for about 80 to 100. Now you see it pushing 150. So if you see a good price on either of these Dragon Quest games in North America, probably worth considering getting, especially those are 2 Nintendo published games that are obviously very prominent series. So those are good. I guess we have more JRPGs actually. Here's one I just picked up pretty recently. I think I got it for 50. I don't remember exactly. But Tales of the Abyss. Of course, this is a Tales of game from Bandai Namco. This is a remake of the PS2 game Tales of the Abyss, I believe. I have not played this version, but I think it goes for around 70 to 80 bucks. I've actually seen it higher than that, I believe. So Tales of the Abyss, cool to have a Tales of game portably on the 3DS. More JRPG goodness. This game has been rising in price a lot. I've gotten a lot of requests to play this game, actually. I've been meaning to. It's just been hard to find time to go back and play a game like this because I know they're so long. This is a Nintendo published game from 2017, Evertopia Oasis. If you remember watching that Treehouse that year, it was the first year of the Switch for Treehouse, or maybe it was actually 2016, the Breath of the Wild year. They showed this game on Treehouse. It is developed by Grezzo, the people that did the 3DS Zelda remakes, and they did Miitopia on Switch. So and Link's Awakening. That's probably the more prominent thing they've done. So Evertopia Oasis. This is a fun little town building JRPG from what I've played. I've heard great things about it. It is definitely a hidden gem, as you would call it. So I wanted to shout it out. Like I said, I think I got this game for 40 to 45, maybe 50 in that range. So it normally goes for. The thing, another case of it not popping up much. I've seen it sell for like 90, you know, but then usually it sells for I think in like 50 to 60 range. So Ever Oasis is definitely one to keep an eye out on. Then we have a very, very prominent game. Glad to finally have this in my collection. I had the case for it. I still want to get the big box version, and that is Icarus Uprising. So obviously a very mainstream 3DS game, probably the unanimous like best reviewed 3DS game ever. This game has also gone up in price a lot. Don't really need to talk about it much because it is known that this game is so good. I had the box, so I got a cart only copy, I think for 40 or 45. I was super stoked on that because I had the case. Usually complete in box like this, it goes for about $100. And there's also that big box version that came with the AR cards as well as the stand for your 3DS, and you know that nice Nintendo cardboard as we love here. That goes for about it varies once again, like 120 to 150, I would say, in that range. So, Icarus Uprising, I would say if you really care about first party Nintendo, this is probably one of the main games to get, especially because if this game, I was talking about this with Ty Plays More, shout out, go check out him for more 3DS stuff. We did a video, I think. If they ever do a sequel to this and then don't port this, the value of this game is going to skyrocket. So if you want to have that game to play one day, definitely get it now before it goes up anymore. Now, the inverse of that, if they ever do port this game, that would probably hurt it a little bit. But yeah, try to look out for Icarus Uprising for a good price. Moving it back to level 5, we have another level 5 series that I think is very kind of looked over on the 3DS. I think it was more viewed as a DS series. That is Professor Leighton. So this is the only game in the series on 3DS I have. There are 3. Can't hold it up. There are 3 games in the Professor Leighton series. This is Miracle Mask, or actually no, 4. I lied. There's the one with his daughter. This is the first one they released on 3DS, Miracle Mask. The second game in that prequel trilogy. I got this sealed for 40 or 50, I believe. It's gone up, I think, to like 70 now, sealed, maybe 80. Same thing with the, I think it's Leighton's Mystery Journey. That was the last one they released on 3DS. That one's around like 90 sealed from what I've seen. So look out for those two. But then there's the two big boys. So the sequel to Miracle Mask, Professor Leighton and the Azran Legacy, that game goes for... I've seen it sell for around 100, but I've also seen it sell for around 150. With all these 3DS games, once you get past $100, like the value can vary so greatly just based on how fast the person wants to sell it or what they list it for. So I would say around 100 to 150 for Azran Legacy. So if you see it for cheaper than that, oh yeah, definitely buy it. And then I think the bigger fish to catch is Professor Leighton versus Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney on the 3DS. I've seen this game go for, well, back in February, it was going for like, 80 to 100. Now it's going for 200 plus. So if you see a good price on Professor Leighton versus Phoenix Wright, definitely grab that. It's still one I need to get, as well as Azran Legacy and Leighton's Mystery Journey. So definitely some good stuff there. I like it's nice having some, not first party Nintendo games, even though Nintendo actually did publish this. It's nice having some more third party stuff kind of mixed in there. Let's talk about another first party Nintendo series though. Kirby. So I have 3 of the games in the series here. Some of these aren't super valuable right now, but Kirby Battle Royale, this game goes for like 25 to 30. I don't know if it'll go up more than that. It's not a great game by any means, but we're talking about Kirby. Gotta mention it. Then we have the 2 mainline Kirby games on 3DS. We have Triple Deluxe, another game that I think goes for like 25 to 30 right now. And then more importantly, Kirby Planet Robobot, the best Kirby game on the 3DS maybe ever. Out of all Kirby games, this game has gone up in value a lot. It's also fluctuated a lot. At one point, it was pushing like 80, then it dropped back down to 60, and then it went up to 70. So I would say in the 60 to 80 range for Planet Robobot is about what you're looking at. So if you can get it for like 50, I would say that's a pretty good deal. And something I maybe should have noted way earlier is World Edition. So I don't have any with me right here, I don't think. You may see copies of this game for like $40, maybe even 35, 40, maybe 45, that has the World Edition tag. That's different. If you are a collector like me, and here's the thing, if you don't mind World Edition, that's fine. I personally don't want to have a copy that says World Edition. It plays fine, it works fine, it is an authentic copy of the game. There's nothing wrong with having a World Edition. They are simply cheaper. I don't like having the stupid thing on the front, which I know is super petty and super vain, but whatever. So typically you're going to be paying more for a regular copy versus a World Edition. If you guys want to see me do a whole video comparing, World Edition prices versus the regular version, maybe I could do that. That seems like a fun idea. And then that's all the Kirby games I have on 3DS. I'm still missing one though, and that is Extra Epic Yarn. This game has gone up in price a lot. When I made that video in February, it was around retail price, $35, $40. Now it's going for like 80 to 100. So I regret not getting that. Of course, that was the last Nintendo published game on the 3DS. So Definitely keep an eye out for that. Here's a random one that I just wanted to throw in because I don't think I mentioned it in my my last video. Luigis Mansion. This is the remake of the GameCube game. This is my favorite game of all time on the GameCube. So cool to have this on 3DS. I got a really good deal on this. I mentioned it in another video. I got this and Dark Moon for like 25 bucks through clearly the seller's error. You know, they didn't know what they had, I guess. This goes for like 60 now. I think you can still maybe, you know, snipe it for like 45 to 50, but I would say on average it's about 60 bucks for that game. That was another late life 3DS release from Nintendo. And as we're winding down here, let me grab another stack. Another random game that I didn't really intend on getting. I've mentioned this before. I bought it to trade to Caleb for that copy of Yokai Watch 3 before we settled on some other stuff because he ended up buying a copy of the game without telling me. But Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, published by Rising Star Games, I think is the only physical Shantae game on 3DS. Shantae stuff is just for some reason inherently valuable. No matter what platform it is, Shantae games go up in value. This game is available digitally. It doesn't matter. It goes up in value. I got this for, I think, 80. Maybe 70 to 80. It typically sells for around 130 to 150, and that's for a used copy. So if you see a good price on Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, probably should pick it up. No judgment from me if you flip it. You know, if you got to do what you got to do. If you see a good price and you want to flip it, you got to do what you got to do. Got to make that bread. I'm gonna keep my copy. But yeah, so that one's weirdly expensive. And I guess in that same vein, we have another indie game, Shovel Knight. So I did not know this game was so rare on 3DS. I don't know if rare is the exact terminology I would use. So I've actually gone through 2 copies of this game now because I bought one to trade to Caleb because he actually wanted it. Well, initially I bought the copy to trade him, and then I saw another really good price for it, and I was like, okay, I have to do that. So this is a really nice copy. It comes with a full fat manual. You know, it's nice to see that in 3DS games. One of the copies I got for 40 bucks. I think that's the one I ended up trading to Caleb. And then the other copy I got for $25, which was crazy. That's why I impulse bought it. I was like, I have to do that. Usually the game sells for 60 plus. I've seen it sell for 80 plus. I've even seen it sell for over 100. So Shovel Knight is another game that doesn't pop up too often. And when it does, the price is very sporadic. So Shovel Knight, definitely keep an eye out for that. Stack it up there. You're starting to see the stack here in the camera. Let's talk about another series of games. I have all 4 of them here, and my prices that I say out loud might be a little off because I haven't actually done research on these games recently, but the Mario and Luigi series, so I have all 4 games here. We have Dream Team, Bowser's Inside Story, Paper Jam, and Bowser Superstar Saga. So 2 of these are remakes, 2 of them are new games. Let's start with Dream Team. So Dream Team is pretty cheap right now. I think it's like 25 to 30 bucks, easy Mario and Luigi game to get on the 3DS. Then you got Paper Jam. This is actually the last one I ended up getting. I think this game is pushing like 70 to 80 now. I'm pretty sure I got it for like 30 to 40. It's up there. I'm pretty sure. Like I said, I'm going to have prices up on this side of the screen. So maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this game has skyrocketed in price. Then you have the remakes. That's where it gets really interesting. So Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions, I got for 40, and I remember that was a deal at the time. I think it's pushing 60, 70. It might be completely different than that now. And then finally, I don't know if this one spiked and then came down. I think it might have come down. That is Bowser's Inside Story plus Bowser Jr.'s Journey. There was a moment in time when this game was selling for $100. I don't know if it still is. Once again, I'll have the price up on screen. But yeah, this game I got for 35, 40, and it spiked there for a little bit. I don't know if it came back down. So like I said, up on the screen. And then the final game I'm actually going to show off physically here is WarioWare Gold. This game I got sealed when Amazon was, just clearing out inventory. I think I got it for like 10, 15 bucks. It's pushing for a sealed copy, like 100 now. But a used copy you can get for like 50 to 60. Best WarioWare game by far. Now, there are a few more games I don't actually own that I want to go ahead and mention here. And of course, if I don't mention something that you wanted me to mention, leave it in the comments below. And of course, I definitely didn't talk about everything here. I didn't even cover Pokemon or Fire Emblem. Because I already did a video. I already did a video back in February covering a lot of these games. Some of these I wanted to update on, but some of them haven't really changed in price. So go check out that video if I missed something, and maybe I'll miss something again. So we have a bunch of random third-party stuff here that I just want to power through. Project Cross Zone 1 and 2 are delisted from the eShop, I believe. I think both games are delisted, which means the value of those games are going to go up. I think they're both around 80 to 100 right now, maybe even 60 to 80 in that price range, but they're already taken off the eShop, so they're only going up from here. Pilot Wings Resort, this is a random one. I actually do have this. I just didn't grab it. I thought this game was super cheap, but then I saw a copy selling for like 35 to 40, which isn't crazy. You know, it's below MSRP still. But I just always assumed that game was like super cheap. Because I remember getting it from GameStop used for like $3 or $4 back in like, I guess 2016, which is a long time ago. But just funny to see that game so valuable. What else do we have here? Monster Hunter Stories. Most Monster Hunter games on 3DS aren't worth anything, you know, $20 here and there. But Stories, the spinoff, is I think 60 to 80, maybe even rising from there. So that's definitely one to get. Fantasy Life, this game has also gone up a lot. This is another level 5 game. So, well, basically, you know, lesson from this video: buy level 5 games. They are very valuable, it seems. But Fantasy Life was another, I think, similar to Ever Oasis, like a town building JRPG where you have your combat, you have your you know, town building. So that came out pretty early in the 3DS's life cycle. That one goes for, I think, like 70 to 90 now. So pretty up there. This is a game I actually used to have and I regret selling. Cave Story 3D. So Cave Story 3D is different than Cave Story Plus on the eShop. They're two different games. For some reason, they remade the game not in 3D. It's still a 2D game, but with 3D models and stuff. Weird one. It goes for about 80 to 100 once again. There is a version with a lenticular slipcover that goes for a little bit more. But keep that in mind. Nano Assault has a physical release. This is the shmup from Shinin, the people that did Fast RMX. That one, I think, goes for like 60. So that's a random one. 2 games here I do not have, and I might actually be missing one of the titles, but you'll know what I mean just by the series. Style Savvy. So they're Style Savvy Trendsetters. I think that was the first one on 3DS. That game's not worth much. But then we have Fashion Forward and Styling Star. I'll put up prices on screen. I've seen them. I think it's Styling Star. I think that was the third one on 3DS. I've seen that go for like 200. I think these games are very weird. I guess they have a very dedicated community, and, you know, it's your little dress-up games. I don't know, man. Once again, it sucks because I'm going for every first-party Nintendo game on the 3DS, and Nintendo made these games. So at some point, I will be dropping the cash on Style Savvy, Fashion Forward, and Styling Star. So those are both the games to look out for. Another random third-party game, Simmering Kagura 2 Deep Crimson. I think this is like exclusive to the Xseed or Marvelous store or something. There's a special edition. That game is pretty going up there in price. Gravity Falls, a random license game I've seen pushing 50, 60. And then finally, Corpse Party. This is one of the most expensive 3DS games. Just the game by itself, like $150, I believe, but then there is a special edition that comes with these super cool little figures of the characters from the game that pushes $200, $250. And then I think that's about it. I could probably sit here all day and pull games out of my, you know, my behind, keep saying stuff, but I'm going to leave it there. Whatever I missed, put in the comments below. I probably maybe talked about it in my initial video back in February. Once again, I'll have a card up for that at the start of the video, so go back and check that. It was just titled the same thing, except not more in the title, so go check out that video. But yeah, if I missed anything, let me know. Of course, if you found this video informative, if you liked this video, if you want to see more 3DS content on the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. It really helps me out. Hit that like button. And leave a comment down below. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at BoTalksMedia. Join the Discord. A link to that is also in the description for a ton of people in there. You know, you can talk about 3DS collecting. People post their deals they find on eBay and Mercari. So it's a good community to be in. It's grown a lot in the past few months. And until next time, guys, bye-bye.